You are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are the product of your mind. Your mind is a machine for creating thoughts, and it does its job very well. Whatever you have programmed it to do is what it does. Whatever kind of thoughts that you have taught your mind to create are the kind of thoughts that it will create. But you are not your thoughts. When you experience thoughts passing through your mind, they will create emotions. And when you persistently believe the thoughts, they create a mood, they create a set of emotions that will hang around in your body. And those emotions then inform you how to act and what to do. But you are not your thoughts. You are a spirit having a physical, mental, and emotional experience. To gain mental freedom, we must practice an awareness of our thoughts, an awareness of our emotions. We have to practice watching our thoughts and emotions so that we can realize deep inside that we are not our thoughts, we are not our emotions. We can have an experience of thoughts, we can have an experience of emotions, but you are not your thoughts. You are the spirit that is having a mental experience. You are the spirit that is having an emotional experience. This is critical. You are not your thoughts. To gain this mental freedom that I'm speaking about, we must practice observing our thoughts. We must practice watching our thoughts and emotions as they pass through our mind and body. When we become practiced at observing our thoughts and emotions, we become the master and not the slave. Our thoughts and emotions become a tool that we use to achieve our goals and purposes, instead of our thoughts and emotions using us. We become the master and not the slave. This is how we gain mental freedom. Most of us have built up a practice of automatically believing our thoughts. As they occur moment to moment, we invest energy in our thoughts and we believe what they are telling us, and they create emotions. Here's an example. A lot of people have been raised since very young to judge themselves. They look at other people, what other people have and what other people do, and they compare themselves to these other people. We may notice someone else has a certain quality of clothing or house or vehicle or partner, and we judge ourselves and say, I don't have that, so I'm not good. Something is wrong with me. But this is just a thought. We are just believing the thought. This other person has something, I don't have it, therefore I am less than. Therefore I am not as good as them, and I am missing something from my life that I need. All of this is an illusion, and that's why it's so important that we develop a practice of watching, of observing our thoughts and emotions. When we become proficient in observing our thoughts, observing our emotions, moment to moment, then we can begin to choose what thoughts we will invest our belief in, what thoughts we will accept and we will ponder upon, we will meditate upon, what thoughts we will believe in, and therefore what emotions we will experience following those thoughts. The emotions that we experience regularly create our actions. They create how we act in the world. If we walk around constantly thinking, other people are better than me, I do not have what I need, I am not good enough, then that is going to create a whole big pile of negative emotions: anger, sadness, shame, bitterness, depression, resentfulness, frustration. And these emotions will pile up one on top of the other, and they will stay in your body for days, weeks, months, even years. When these emotions have become very familiar and we're very used to walking around feeling angry and sad and ashamed and resentful and frustrated, then it's almost impossible to act and show up in the world in a way that creates abundance and life, in a way that attracts good and beautiful people to us and wonderful opportunities. So we must learn to observe our thoughts so that we can control our emotions and therefore control the experience of reality that we have. When we develop a practice of observing our thoughts and noticing which ones we want to believe in and which ones we want to accept or reject, we can start believing and accepting much more positive thoughts about ourselves and about the world. And when we consistently develop positive and self-affirming thoughts and emotions, then these emotions also build up and become fixed in our body. When we're consistently experiencing positive emotions about ourselves, about the world around us, then we will take positive action all the time. And when other people meet us, they will feel these positive emotions that we are experiencing, and they will take action that is for us rather than against us. They will give us opportunities. They will encourage us. They will give us information. They will give us free goods and services or discounted goods and services. They will inform us about opportunities. They will reflect back to us the same positive emotions that we are consistently experiencing. This built-up layer of unconscious and automatic thoughts and the emotions that go with them are often referred to as the ego. We all know people that have what we call a big ego. They are constantly believing all kinds of thoughts about themselves and about the world that creates this big, fragile ego. We also all know people that are always sad and always playing the victim. They also have an ego, but their ego is telling them that they are not good enough, that they are unable to control themselves and their lives, that there is nothing good in the world for them, and that they have been hurt very badly, and that there's nothing they can do, and that the world is just against them. This is another kind of ego identification, another kind of ego that they have, which is a negative victim ego. When we practice detaching from our thoughts and emotions, then what we find is beneath these thoughts and emotions is the true self. And your true self is deeply peaceful, deeply happy and joyful, and always calm and always okay, no matter what's going on. This true self that you have underneath your ego, underneath all these thoughts and emotions, is resourceful, it is peaceful, it is always there, ready to help you and encourage you. And you can access this true self at any time of the day. All we have to do is develop this practice of watching our thoughts, watching our emotions, and choosing which thoughts we believe and therefore which emotions we will experience on a day-to-day basis. So now we understand that our thoughts are creating our emotions, and our emotions are creating our actions. And this loop, this cycle that we're in, is holding us back. It is creating all kinds of impediments and blockages and barriers in our life from having the kind of freedom that we truly desire to live the kind of life that we really want. But the question remains, how can we achieve this? Well, in this MF course, I will be introducing to you some very simple, very basic techniques that will massively increase your leverage on your own mind. It will massively increase the ability for you to gain control of your mind so that your mind becomes a servant to you and not the other way around. So that you become the master of your mind and not its servant. And this is how we can gain mental freedom. The first point to understand is that mental freedom is a daily practice. We must develop a daily practice. We must practice regularly observing our thoughts and emotions. All well and good. I've already said this before. We have to practice observing our thoughts and emotions. However, this is something that will take time to unlearn. So how can we accelerate this process? How can we expedite this process, make it faster, and reduce the amount of time it takes to go from being fully identified with our ego and a slave to our thoughts to being free. What I'm about to introduce to you is one of the most powerful ways to gain this leverage. It is really going to massively help you to reduce the amount of time it takes to gain mental freedom. And that technique, that idea, is the idea of a morning routine. A morning routine is a daily practice. It is a set of habits, a set of actions that we take every morning when we wake up. The foundation of this morning routine that I'm going to teach in this course is 3 things, and they are prayer, journaling, and meditation. Now, when I say prayer, some people become agitated and they do not want to hear the rest of what I'm saying. They do not want to invest any time in such an activity, and I completely understand that. I want to say, if prayer is completely out of the question for you, then don't worry about it for now, because if you continue the rest of the practices, then it won't be that long. Eventually, you will come to realize that prayer is actually really important, really critical. The reason that we have to pray is to align ourselves with our Creator, to align ourselves with our purpose for being alive. Everyone has an intrinsic purpose for being alive that was given to them by God, the Creator of everything. If you do not live in alignment with this purpose, you will be depressed, you will be sad, you will have no energy, you will feel trapped, you will be inauthentic, and you will not be a happy person, you will not be a productive person, you will be a slave. It's so important that we practice becoming free through prayer. The first thing we do every day should be to pray. When I talk about prayer as part of your daily morning routine, I do not mean a free prayer where you just pray anything. What I mean is that you must create a prayer that you repeat. You repeat the same words, the same ideas, and do that for a while consistently. Write down a prayer that you can pray and do this first thing every day when you wake up. This prayer could be as simple as, God, please help me to live out my purpose today. It could be much more complicated than that. It could be detailed. It might be simple. I just recommend that you write a very basic prayer to begin with. If this is difficult for you, then write a basic prayer to begin with and say it to yourself every morning immediately upon waking up. If you do not have any experience of God and you really find this difficult, but you want to try praying, then my suggestion would be that you pray something like, God, please reveal yourself to me today. This is the place to start. It's just asking God to show himself to you so that you can then develop some faith and then create a more advanced, more useful prayer for yourself. The second technique to add to your morning routine, and this is probably the most powerful in terms of quickly shifting the negative thoughts and negative emotions that you're experiencing, is journaling. Get yourself a journal and write in it first thing every morning. Do your prayer and then journal. If you're just starting out on this process, then the best way to journal is just to write anything. Just free associate. Write whatever comes to mind and record it down. Some people say, I don't know what to journal. So what I would say is then just write, I don't know what to journal. Some people say, I'm not sure if this is going to do anything. You could then write down, I'm not sure if this is going to do anything. Just write. Just write. Develop a practice of writing every morning, immediately after your prayer, and you will find massive shifts in your life. When you journal regularly, you're teaching your mind to know itself. You're dumping out all of the thoughts, all of the beliefs that you're carrying with you, and you're showing them to yourself. You're allowing yourself to question if you actually agree and believe in all these thoughts. Here's an analogy for how journaling works. Imagine that you're driving in your car and your windscreen is caked up with mud and dust and debris and dirt over years and years and years that have built up over your windscreen, but it's happened so slowly and happened such a long time ago that you don't even notice that there's a huge amount of dirt and mud on your windscreen. And you're just driving along, peering through the windscreen. You can kind of see where you're going, but not really. And because you don't see where you're going that well, you miss turnoffs, you drive over things on the road, you get a flat tire and you're stuck, and you can't really drive that well because your windscreen is covered in dirt. There's all this stuff on the front of it, and you can't actually see where you're going. So when we journal, it's as though we are taking a cloth and just rubbing on that windscreen just a little bit. It doesn't get it all off, doesn't get all the mud and dirt off. It just cleans it a little bit, just rubs off one layer of the dirt so that you can just see where you're going just a little bit better. Now, over time, as we journal every day, it's like we're taking off one layer of dirt off the windscreen. And your windscreen starts to get clearer and clearer. You start being able to see where you're going. You start being able to see where the right turnoffs are, where the shortcuts are. You don't run over objects and other people as you're driving down the road. You don't drive into things that you don't want to hit. You go the right way. You know where you're going to go because you can see so much better because there isn't all this mud and dirt caked up on your windscreen. And that is a way in which journaling helps you. It's as though you are rubbing all the stuff off your windscreen so you can see better where you're going. When you daily write out your thoughts, especially first thing in the morning, you're giving your mind the opportunity to clear itself. You're dumping out all the stuff that has been processed while you were sleeping. One of the things I like to do every day is go for a run in the morning before I eat. What this does is it helps you to control your body fat, to control your weight. And the reason is that over time, your body becomes conditioned. Your liver and your muscles and other organs, they get used to the fact that you're going to run in the morning without any food in your stomach. So they prepare your muscles for this exercise while you're sleeping. They store glycogen in your muscles so that when you wake up, you're ready to exercise. This is analogous to what's happening when you're journaling. When you journal every morning, while you're sleeping, your brain is preparing you for the journaling that's going to happen in the morning. It will take some time to build up a habit of journaling, but it is totally worth doing. When you get used to it, when your body and your mind becomes habituated to the idea that you're going to journal every morning, then it generates for you stuff to write, stuff for you to look at. See, when you write down your thoughts, you're externalizing your ego. You're externalizing all of the thoughts and stories that have been built up in your mind over years and years and years, and you're giving yourself a chance to see how you really think. Very often when I'm working with clients, they will, and I'm sitting there and I'm journaling with them, helping them journal, they will write out some limiting belief. They will write out something like, I'm uncomfortable about being exposed to other people because they will judge me. And then a moment later, the next thing they write is, but I don't really care if they judge me. It doesn't really matter anyway. So in real time, by writing out their thoughts, they're processing them. They're lifting up the layers of thoughts and starting to understand what's underneath. The first one was, oh, people will judge me, I'm worried about that. But the next one was, oh, I don't even really care about that. And what you find is that by journaling regularly, you're going to gain access to who you really are. You're going to gain access to yourself and discover which of your thoughts are in fact stories that other people, like your parents and other people as you've grown up, have put on you, and which of your thoughts are actually coming from your true self and who you really are. Which ones are helpful to you and which ones are not helpful to you. Another really useful way to use your journal is to carry it with you during the day. Take your journal with you wherever you go, especially if you're first starting out this work, or if you're going through a period where there's going to be a lot of emotions. If something difficult is happening, maybe you're going through a breakup, maybe you are trying to release an addiction, maybe you are starting a new job, whatever is difficult for you and going to create lots of emotions and lots of challenging thoughts, then during that period, take your journal with you during the day. Then, when you notice that you're having thoughts, you're having thoughts that you are automatically believing, stories are going through your head that you're giving a lot of energy to and you're feeling emotions, then pull out your journal. Pull out your journal, get out that pen, like this, And start writing. Start writing what's going on. Start talking to yourself about what thoughts you're having. The first thing you might want to do is just start writing out what the thoughts are. I'm thinking this, I'm thinking that. These are the thoughts, these are the stories that are going through my head right now. Another very useful tip when you're doing journaling is to question what you've just written. If you write down, oh, I'm scared, I'm worried because I'm starting this new job and I think that people are going to judge me, they're going to find out that I'm not really that good at my job. And just wait for a moment. You've written that out and reflect. What do I think about that? Is that true or not? Is that really how I think, or is there another way to frame this? Then you can write down your new thought, the reflection you have on your first thought. Maybe these people will really like me. Maybe I'll be better than them. Who knows? Maybe I shouldn't really be worried about this new job because I've had new jobs before and it didn't go that badly. Whatever it is for you, just take your journal with you when you're having difficult areas of your life, difficult times of your life, and use it. Pull it out, and it will become like a friend, like a therapist to you, because you will be able to use it to dump out and get rid of a whole lot of your thoughts and stories that are occupying your mind. For those of you who have practiced journaling a little bit already, here is a framework. Here are some ideas about how to use your journaling in a slightly more advanced way. The first one is morning pages. When you wake up in the morning, first time you're journaling, just write anything. Write whatever comes to your mind. Just let yourself flow. Write out whatever is happening for you, just whatever you're thinking about. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be about the coming day. It could be about what you've been thinking about in the night. It could be something that happened yesterday, something you want to happen in the future. It doesn't matter. Just let it flow. Go with anything and just write. Free journaling, morning pages. Beautiful thing to do in the morning. Another great tip for the morning is to write out a maximum of three goals for the day. These goals should be something that you are slightly uncomfortable with, slightly challenging, not super challenging, not super difficult, but just a little bit difficult, something that you find that you have a little bit of resistance to. Maybe just start with one. Depends on where you're at. If you're only just beginning this, start with one thing that you need to do today that you find a little bit difficult. You can write a little dash or a little square. I like to make a little square. And then later on in the evening when I'm reviewing and I have done that goal, I give myself a little tick in that square, and it feels very satisfying to tick off that goal. Maximum of 3 goals, and make sure that they are something that you are slightly resistant to, not too much, just a little bit resistant to, and never write down goals that you don't complete. Don't give yourself a goal that you won't do. If you're just starting out this, just give yourself a goal that you'll know you'll do. The point here is to build up the ability for you to trust yourself, Don't set goals that you aren't going to do. Always achieve your goals. It's really important that you learn that what you commit to, you do. You're teaching yourself to trust yourself by setting these 3 goals. In the evening, take out your journal and write about your day. Frame up the day in a positive way. Discuss what you learned. Discuss what happened today that was good, but even if bad things happened, then write down how you learned from it, what you were going to gain out of those negative or difficult things that happened, what character growth you were going to develop, what new ideas you found, what things that you can protect yourself and keep yourself away from. Maybe something happened during the day, someone said or did something that really doesn't work for you, you don't like. You can write, I don't like it when people say that. I think I'm going to avoid those experiences in the future. Whatever it is, frame up your day as a positive. Frame up whatever happened during the day as being good for you and positive in some way. Another awesome evening journaling exercise is to write maximum of 3 ways that you are different, that you have changed during the day. It could be something you learned, it could be something you did that you've never done before, but even if it's something you have done before, let's say you went for a jog, even though you've been to a jog many times, the fact is you did it today, and so you are different today than you were yesterday because you did that jog today. Anything that has changed, something you learned, something new, something that you do regularly, it could be, but anything that happened during the day that shows that you have changed and you've become a slightly different person today than you used to be. Another super powerful evening journaling technique is to write 3 gratitudes, 3 things that you are grateful for. There's a lot of scientific evidence showing that when you write out 3 things you're grateful for from the day, that you actually sleep better. And that's very important. Sleep is hugely important for your health of both your mind and your body. So try writing out 3 things that you're grateful for. At the end of the week, you can review your week, do a review of your week, describe what happened during the week, and frame it up as positive. Write out about everything that you learned, everything new that you did, all the good things that happened, all the positives that happened, and you'll be amazed if you do this for a few weeks, how good you get at remembering and framing up everything that's happened in a positive way. I will write a block, like a couple of paragraphs, maybe a page or 2 even, that outlines the week as positive and all the good things that happened. I will also write a list of all the wins, all the good, cool things that happened during the week. And then I will also write a much shorter, usually, list of challenges, things that I found difficult during the week, making sure that I frame them up as something positive, something I can learn from, that something that I can get a benefit out of, even though they were challenging, that they were good things for me that happened during the week. The last thing in my weekly review I'll do is set goals for the week. I will create a list of goals, things that I want to achieve in the coming week. These things, again, need to be slightly challenging, but not too challenging. You want to find something that there's a little bit of resistance to, but not too much. I mean, if you have to do something that is a really big goal that you know you have to do it, you might want to write it in there, but this is not, in my experience, where the most benefit is. It's really about finding something internal that you are slightly resistant to. You know you can do it, but you don't really want to, or there's some internal resistance to doing it. Write that out. Put a little square or a dash next to it so that as you complete these goals during the week, you can give yourself a tick. Tick those things off as you do them. I'll often transfer my weekly goals into my daily goals. 1 or 2 of them will go from the weekly column into the daily journal. And as I complete them, I tick off both of those ticks. It's very satisfying to give yourself a little note, a little tick showing that you have completed that goal. So those are some more advanced journaling techniques. There is so much information on the internet for free about how to journal and different ways that you can journal. These are just some of the things that I'm using that I found great benefit in. I hope that helps you a lot. So the third technique we're going to discuss is meditation. Now, meditation is a very large topic that obviously has had many books, libraries of books written about it. Many, many people have dedicated their lives to practicing and understanding meditation. And so I'm not going to attempt to do a thorough deep dive on meditation, what it is and why it works and how it works. But I'm going to just introduce the topic because it's very important that we all develop a practice of meditation. The reason we want to meditate every morning, and ideally every evening if you can as well, is because it is like weightlifting for your awareness. It is strengthening your ability and the skill that you have to observe your thoughts and stay present with your mind. By regularly practicing observing your thoughts, you're training your mind to regularly observe your thoughts. Okay? It's really that simple. We want to practice meditation every day, and early in the morning, soon after we wake up, we've done our prayers, we've done our journaling, and then we're going to meditate. And that is a very powerful loop to find yourself in. It's a very powerful and effective practice, is to meditate immediately after doing your journaling. What we're going to do is going to find a place to meditate. You're going to find a location where you're going to do nothing but meditate. Every day in the same place, you will meditate. What I do is I just have a pillow, I pull it out, stick it on my couch, and I sit on my couch, and all I do when I pull out that pillow, when I sit in that location, is I meditate. By building up this habit, this ritual, we're using the environment to inform yourself. What I'm about to do now is what I always do in this place, and that is meditate. So the way that I'm going to suggest that you meditate is to sit with your back straight. You can cross your legs or not, doesn't really matter too much. Sit up straight, close your eyes, relax your body, and begin to focus on your breath. You may have heard this before. The reason that we'll focus on our breath is that it is something that is happening in the present moment. If you find it very difficult to focus on your breath, there's another technique that I'll teach as well, which is to focus just on the skin, right here in the center of your forehead, because this is a very sensitive area, and this area is where thoughts come through into your mind. They're generated in your brain, and this part of your brain literally is where thoughts are generated. Okay, so by focusing on this little area of skin right here in the center of your forehead, you can bring yourself into the present moment as well, just by feeling. This is a sensitive area of skin, by feeling the skin there, feeling the sensation. So you can focus on your breath, or you can focus on the skin in your forehead here. Those are two options that you can use to begin meditating. Set yourself a timer. If you find it scary or incredibly difficult to meditate for a long time, then just start with 5 minutes. Start with 5 minutes, and then I would suggest that you build up to 10 minutes. If you want, you can go to 20 minutes. What I personally do at the moment is I just do 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening, and I find that is plenty for me. Some people may want to do longer, that's fine. But the purpose of this is not to develop some intense spiritual practice at all. The purpose of it is merely to gain the skill and work on the skill of being present with your thoughts. So what you're going to do is you're going to set your timer, close your eyes, relax, and if you're using, for example, the breath meditation, just start focusing on your breath. Start feeling the sensation of the breath as it moves in and out of your lungs. Feeling the breath going down into your lungs, and then feeling it passing out. And what's going to happen is, as you do this, at some point, probably pretty soon, you're going to have a thought. The thought might be, why am I doing this? It might be something that happened yesterday, or something that you're going to do today. It might be, my foot's cold. That's one that I think of that happens to me quite a lot. My feet are getting cold. Okay, the point of this is that the point of the meditation is for you to practice returning your mind to the meditation. When you notice that you've had a thought, don't judge it as good or bad that you're thinking. Just notice, oh, I'm having a thought now, and then return to your meditation. Return to feeling your breath or feeling the spot above your eyebrows. When we meditate, we're not trying to get a place of no thoughts. We're not trying to enter a meditative state in particular. The benefits come when we notice we're not meditating. When we notice, oh, I'm thinking, and then we return back to the meditation. That is what's going to really strengthen your ability to observe your thoughts, because you're basically just isolating yourself from external stimuli. You're sitting in a comfortable place. It's the same place every day. You're closing your eyes so you can't see anything. And then you're focusing on the current moment. You're focusing on something that is happening right now, your breath or the sensation on your skin. And what this is doing is it's anchoring you in the current moment. And when you drift off into thoughts, you're actually moving away from the current moment. You're moving into an imagination of the future or a memory of the past. You're not actually present in the moment with your body. So when we notice that and return back to the meditation, return back to the moment, that is helping us build the skill of observing our thoughts, of practicing watching our thoughts all the time. So practice meditation, do meditation every morning, and if you can, every evening. Start with 5 minutes and work your way up to at least 10 minutes. It's not too long at all. It's not very long. And you will find massive benefits over time from your daily meditation practice. So that's it, really. I've covered how you are not your thoughts, you are not your emotions. You are a spirit that is observing your thoughts and emotions. I've covered that we have to start practicing observing our thoughts and the emotions they create so that we can choose which thoughts we want to invest our energy in, which thoughts we want to believe. Because once we start choosing which thoughts we believe, then we are able to choose what kind of experience we have of reality. I've covered how you must practice praying, journaling, and meditating every morning, because this is massively going to increase the leverage you have over your thoughts and over your awareness of your thoughts. When you start doing this regularly, you're going to find that it's really, really going to impact your life. Everything will start to change. You will start to gain access to what I call your true self. You see, all of the addictions and bad habits that you're trying to release are all part of your ego. They are part of a personality that you've developed over time, and especially when you're younger, to help protect yourself from the challenges and traumas of life. They're helping you to cope. They formed as a very young child to protect you and to nurture you through very difficult situations. But now that you're an adult, those younger parts are naively and foolishly acting out in a way that doesn't help you because they are still very young and immature. As you can begin gaining control over your thoughts and over your emotions, then the adult, the wiser and older part of yourself, can get in touch with those younger protector parts of yourself and soothe them and talk to them through your journaling. Talk to them by being present with them and teach them it's okay now. I'm in charge. I'm here. I'm the adult. And I'm able to govern and manage the life of all of us, of all of the different parts that you have inside you for what's better, to create something that is better and more wholesome and more healing and a much happier and much better life than the younger parts of yourself who make you want to drink and do other negative, destructive habits. So be ready, because once you become mentally free, you're going to find yourself having all sorts of creative ideas. You're going to find yourself wanting to do all kinds of new things, seeing the world and other people in a completely different way. You will notice that they are trapped, that they are not free, and they are having difficult experiences, and they are enslaved to bad habits like you used to be. You will find that as you detach from your thoughts and emotions, that you begin to change rapidly. And this means, unfortunately, that you may lose parts of your life. You may lose relationships and friendships. You may move away from jobs that do not serve you, situations that do not serve you. I mean, this is in fact necessary. As you release yourself from bad habits, what you'll discover more and more is that these are a really big part of your life, and your life has been constructed around all kinds of coping mechanisms that you no longer need. And so over time, you will actually shed people from your life, situations, choices that you've made that no longer serve you. Be ready for this. Accept right now that you are going to change, and therefore your whole world is going to change around you. This is not bad. This is a good and healing process. As you lose these people and these situations from your life, you will discover that that loss has an effect on you. You will have thoughts. Those thoughts will create emotions. Continue with your practice. Notice that you're having those thoughts and emotions. Journal them all out. Write out the thoughts and emotions you're having about these changes in your life, the people that are moving out of your life and the new ones that are coming in, the situations that are leaving your life and the new ones that are coming in. Take note. Remain the observer. Notice your thoughts and emotions and journal all of these things out. The most important thing is that you maintain your daily practice. Develop it over time. You may add to your morning routine. My morning routine currently involves me recording my weight. It involves running and push-ups, several different meditations, an inner child meditation, different journaling practices. That's just what I'm doing at the moment. It has evolved over time. Yours will too. But these three practices that I have outlined you, I believe, should remain constant to every morning routine. It's the prayer, it's the journaling, and it's the meditation. These are the most high leverage, the most high benefit practices, in my opinion, that you can do. So I urge you, I encourage you, and I invite you to really give yourself the gift of persistence and consistency in this practice. You will not regret it. You will be so happy and so grateful that you allowed yourself to show up and to become your own best friend, to create love and peace and joy in your life by following this daily practice and by giving yourself mental freedom.